battle over the Rio Grande.
Winter weather is in full effect. More on my full forecast.
The city of Carlsbad is looking to up their recycling game. With all these stories and more, right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Jonathan Giese.
And I'm Corbin Shaner. Thank you so much for watching. The Lee County Sheriff's Office is asking the public to assist them in locating 23-year-old Jose Hilario Benavidez from Hobbs, New Mexico. Jose Benavidez is wanted for armed robbery, first-degree felony, aggravated battery, a third-degree felony, shooting at a dwelling or occupied building, second-degree felony, negligent of a deadly weapon, and unlawful carrying of a deadly weapon, both being petty misdemeanors. He was last seen in a gray passenger car on the Denver City Highway heading towards Hobbs, New Mexico. Anyone with any information about Benavidez is asked to contact law enforcement at 575-396-3611 or the Lee County Crime Stoppers at 575-393-8005.
The Dora and Kelsey fire departments have demonstrated outstanding response to the hay barn fire this morning. However, an extended response is anticipated. McDonald's and Dewdrop Inn were able to provide breakfast to the firefighters to thank them for their support and help for this fire. We'll have more information on the cause and any other updates as this information becomes available.
Yesterday, December 3rd, Hobbs Police Department school resource officers responded to the Hobbs Freshman School around 10:30 a.m. to a report of a student with a firearm. That firearm was later confirmed to be a pellet gun. The student was arrested and charged with a fourth-degree felony for unlawful possession of a deadly weapon on school premises. The Hobbs Police Department would like to remind everyone that if you see something, say something to keep everyone in your community a safer place.
A Roswell man, Audric Lacey, was sentenced to 18 years in prison after pleading guilty earlier this year for 2 counts of armed robbery committed on the same day in 2021. He originally was arrested for 13 different felonies. However, due to uncooperative victims, his total counts was dropped to only 4 counts of armed robbery. He worked with a juvenile to rob several victims and operated out of a stolen vehicle. The juvenile reached a plea deal earlier this year, the details of which have not been released to the public. The U.S. Department of Energy has announced a plan to use land at the site of the nation's only underground repository for nuclear waste to construct green energy systems. The project at the Waste Isolation Pilot Plant located near Carlsbad is part of an ongoing federal mission. The aim is to transform portions of government-owned property, once used for the nation's nuclear weapons program, into prime real estate for renewable energy endeavors. The WIPP project is part of more than 50 square miles of government land that can be used for constructing solar arrays and battery storage systems that can supply utilities with emissions-free electricity. There is potential to install at least 250 megawatts of solar power storage. There is no estimate of when ground could be broken for the future project.
While the ambitious proposal to reuse brackish water and oil and gas water made by Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham during the 2024 legislative session did not progress, a new proposal may be made during 2025 following a comprehensive 115-page plan just published by the New Mexico Environment Department. The draft made public in September is open for public comment and includes a request for a total of $75 million in grant funding for projects to treat natural brackish water and hydraulic fracking wastewater. It also proposes that the oil and gas industry will pay for wastewater disposal by the barrel. Sidney Leaman, a senior advisor for the department, notes that the oil and gas industry itself actively involved and sees the proposal as a solution to their wastewater disposal issue.
A $100,000 donation from Chevron could be the start of a cardboard recycling program in the city of Carlsbad. The city announced that it was engaging in a feasible study over the next 6 months to determine the costs and benefits of the program, with findings expected in early 2025. The intention is for the city of Carlsbad to build a facility for residents to recycle unused cardboard, intended to reduce landfill waste and promote sustainable practices in the community. City recycling services were suspended in 2016. Since then, the city has struggled to develop a new recycling program, with several attempts failing to garner public support. You know, we just entered December and it's getting colder.
Oh, it's getting freezing out there.
That's one way to kick off the Christmas season.
It is, and it's just going to get colder from here, y'all. We're looking at a little bit of precipitation in the Texas area going down towards Florida and Atlanta. As you can see, it's moving in. But will dissipate over time, as well as up in New York and Washington, a storm trying to circle there. For the most part, New Mexico is pretty dry with some scattered showers around, but because of that, it's cold, it's dry, allergies. As the grass, trees, and weeds dry out, we're going to see this level get higher. Currently, it's at a medium, so do take your allergy meds if you're prone to that, and just kind of stay alert on that kind of stuff as it gets colder. Our 24-hour temperature staying at a nice 50 and 60s, but going to drop down into freezing temps tonight. Make sure to leave that water running. We will get back up into the 50s and 60s tomorrow, but that's what I have now. See y'all at the desk.
Thanks, lady. Residents in the city of Portales will soon get new dumpsters. The city of Portales is expecting the dumpsters in the next 8 to 12 weeks. The city has ordered 750 dumpsters for residential use and 159 dumpsters for commercial use. Portales city leaders say they will replace the old ones that are beyond repair first and replace the ones that can be fixed and used as spares. Cost for the new dumpsters is just around $600,000.
The Hobbs Police Department is getting involved in the holiday cheer with their annual Cookies with Cops event this Saturday, December 7th. You can come decorate cookies, drink hot cocoa, and watch a fun holiday movie in the Hobbs Police Department classroom. The event happens immediately after the Christmas parade scheduled earlier that evening, and they hope to see you there to spread some holiday joy this winter season.
The New Mexico Department of Agriculture has released their Harvest Lookbook for the year 2024. The book is for all those looking to shop local and grab products homegrown in the land of enchantment. The book includes everything from meats to salsa to seasonings, and even has several recipes you can make with these ingredients right from home. To access this free resource and enjoy the world of wondrous foods, you can visit elevatenewmexicoag.com.
A delegation of New Mexico lawmakers is asking the federal government to quickly resolve long-standing litigation affecting water uses in the Rio Grande Basin.
Roz Brown from the Public News Service has more.
In a 2013 lawsuit, Texas alleged New Mexico farmers were using groundwater previously allocated to Texas. Then in 2022, the two states reached an out-of-court agreement. But the federal government objected, and a subsequent U.S. Supreme Court ruling said government consent was needed first. Harvard environmental law professor Andrew Mergen says a lot has changed since the original water compact was signed in 1939.
This is in some ways about growth in New Mexico that has accelerated groundwater pumping in the Rio Grande. And how are you going to manage that groundwater pumping in a way that the compact terms are met?
New Mexico's U.S. senators and representatives have sent a letter to the Departments of Interior and Justice asking for resolution by year's end. Mergen believes that's unlikely, but without it, the states and federal government must argue their case at a trial in federal court. Mergen says decades-old water allocations in the West were based on what was known at the time. Parties could only guess about population growth and couldn't anticipate the advent of more oil and gas drilling, increased water crop irrigation, and sustained periods of drought, all amid climate change.
That's what makes this profoundly difficult, and that's what the rub of this case is, that the compact was negotiated a long time ago. Things change. How do you account for change?
The Rio Grande Basin is critical to agriculture, industry, and the environment, providing irrigation water for nearly 2 million acres of crop and pasture land, supporting the outdoor recreation economy, and providing habitat for fish and wildlife. I'm Roz Brown reporting.
The outcome of Texas versus New Mexico could fundamentally change how groundwater is managed in the Rio Grande Basin in New Mexico for both the agricultural industry and cities like Albuquerque and Las Cruces.
A nearly extinct fish native to the Pecos River in Eddy County could be given federal protections despite oil and gas industry leaders insistent that doing so would impact Permian Basin energy development. According to the Carlsbad Current Argus, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has proposed a threatened listing for the Pecos pupfish. A threatened listing means the species population numbers are believed in decline, and that without action, the little fish could become extinct in the future. The agency also proposed setting aside critical habitat lands where the pupfish could regrow its population. Its historic range stretched from Chaves County south through Eddy County in southeast New Mexico down to far east-west Texas. Today, the species is limited to Chaves County.
Coming up after the break, Lainey will have her full weather report for you.
But first, here's a look at today's financial market.
Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Lainey Carlock, here to talk you through the weather. So as I stated before, we got this little bit of storm down in the Texas area heading towards Atlanta and Florida, as well as up in New York and Washington. As for New Mexico, we got a couple of scattered showers going on around. For the most part, eastern New Mexico is pretty dry, except for Alamogordo has a little bit of a shower that will be fading out as we get into the nighttime. Because of this dryness, as I said, allergies are very high, so do be careful about that if you're prone to them. Our drought conditions currently are starting to recede finally down towards Las Cruces and Carlsbad, looking great in the eastern part as well as up towards Gallup. We're seeing that extreme drought is turning into severe drought instead, meaning that the water is finally replenishing. This is great news for New Mexico as we've been struggling with that. As we move on to our current wind speeds, it's getting a little windy out there, guys. Portales at 13 miles per hour with Clovis at 15. However, Alamogordo and Las Cruces are both at calm, and Truth or Consequences at 5 miles per hour. So be careful with that wind as well. It is expected to get worse tonight. Our current temperatures are not too bad overall in the 50s and 60s, though Farmington and Gallup are in the 40s with 48 and 43. Alamogordo coming in at 61 with Ruidoso at a chilly 48. As for Portales, we're at 52 with Clovis at 48 and Roswell at 59. Hobbs as well at 61. Kind of scattered all over the place. Tonight it is getting really, really cold. So as I said before, make sure you turn on that heater, keep your water dripping, and a good thing is always start your car before you go to bed when it gets real cold out. It'll keep the fluids moving throughout the night. Farmington is getting down to 23, Gallup at a really chilly 18, Raton at 22, and Clayton at 31. As for the eastern part, we're staying fairly nice, not at freezing, but pretty near it. Ruidoso is going to get down to 32 with Clovis at 30, so do be aware in those areas, though Portales will stay at 34, Roswell at 43, and Santa Rosa at 34 as well. Tomorrow's highs overall not going to be pretty bad. A little bit chilly, so make sure you have a light jacket with you. Farmington and Gallup both at 55 and Santa Fe at 54. Truth or Consequences at 60 and Alamogordo at 61. If you're in the Ruidoso area, it's going to be a little bit more chilly with 48. As for Roswell and Portales, 56 and 55, and Clovis at 53. With those winds, it's going to be a little chilly. Make sure you have a windbreaker. On to our 7-day forecast. As for Roswell, we're getting a little bit of cloud coverage over there with some rain expected on Friday morning. Cloud coverage on Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday. In the 50s and 40s, getting down to 44 on Tuesday. For the lows, it's going to be in the 40s and 30s, getting down to 24 actually on Tuesday night as the lowest out of this upcoming week. Carlsbad is also going to have some cloud coverage on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Tuesday with some windiness on Sunday, again in the 50s, 60s, and 40s, and dropping down into the 40s and 30s. Tucumcari overall, a little bit of cloud coverage and some possible snow showers on Tuesday, with in the 50s and 40s and 60s and dropping down to the 30s and 20s. Finishing off with Portales with just cloudiness and in the 60s and dropping down to the 30s.
Well, as always, thank you, Lainey, and we'll have more news right after this break.
Welcome back. The Clovis Civic Center will be hosting their next Around the World culinary event on December 19th at 6 p.m. and invite guests to explore some of the wonderful, authentic foods of India. Last month's meal was centered around Greek cuisine and featured fresh vegetables and grilled meats served on a soft pita with creamy tzatziki. If you're ready to discover the menu of India, the link to purchase tickets is available on the Clovis Civic Center Facebook page. Tickets are just $25 for individuals and $45 for couples.
The holiday season is in full swing across the state, and KENW President's Dr. James Johnston welcomed university employees to the President's holiday reception for food, music, and holiday cheer.
Yeah, it's a great annual tradition of the President's Brunch. It's an opportunity to get all of our KENW family, all of our employees together, and just to celebrate the end of the semester, the beginning of the holiday season, enjoy some good food and conversation. You know, for me, this is part of my family, my KENW family, so the ability to bring them all together and have an event like this. And sometimes we get siloed in our own different areas, so this gives an opportunity for everybody to come together and, again, just enjoy some food and some fun. And we'll do events at our house, too, to break them into smaller groups, but, again, just welcoming our KENW family to an event like this and to our home.
Curry County Event Center is hosting a Winter Wonderland trade show this weekend and next weekend on December 7th, 8th, 14th, and 15th. The event presented by Clovis Community College includes several vendors, a kids' winter circus, ice skating, and so much more. The event is a $5 entry, and all are invited to come enjoy this winter festival before the holiday season kicks into full swing. For more information on the event and what is in store, you can visit www.curryeventcenter.com.
The Eastern New Mexico University's Winter Music Concert is tomorrow night, December 5th, featuring the Greyhound Sound Winter Band, several choral ensembles, and the jazz band from the university all coming together in the ballroom at 7 p.m. to spread wonderful, enchanting holiday music, sing-alongs, visits from Santa, and an overall merry atmosphere. So come join the festivities and enjoy your holiday season.
Coming up after the break, KJ will have a full sports report for you,
including highlights from New Mexico High School football championships, so stay tuned.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm KJ Ford. Let's take a dive into the sports world. The New Mexico high school football season has officially wrapped up, and the eastern part of New Mexico has truly dominated, with 4 teams bringing home state championship titles. Starting off with Roswell in the 5A bracket. After dominating in the regular season and keeping their momentum into the playoffs, they played against Artesia High School for the second time in a row for the championship finals. In the end, Roswell came out with a big win of 41-22. Next, we'll go to the 2A bracket where Texaco brought home the state championship for the second year in a row. The Wolverines brought home a huge victory versus Santa Rosa, beating the team 50-0, finishing with a perfect 12-0 record. Now, going to 8-man football. Melrose High School finished an undefeated season with a 62-12 win over Mesilla Valley Christian School. Melrose also won their second consecutive title this year, setting themselves up for a fantastic 2025 season. And finally, the last team from the East to bring home the title was the Longhorns. Logan, with another undefeated season, beating Grady in the finals with a score of 54-14. From here at KENW, we extend a big congratulations to all the players, coaches, and communities that made all these fantastic seasons possible, and wish every team and school a great rest of the school year. Eastern New Mexico men's basketball improves to a 4-2 with 88-45 victory over Justice College this past Saturday. Eastern forced 30 turnovers, with junior Cooper Jackson leading the way and tying a season-best 7 steals. 11 different Hounds scored in the game. ENMU's depth helped the program score 34 points off the bench. Eastern New Mexico came into the game leading the Lone Star Conference with points off the bench per game. The Hounds will host Oklahoma Christian Thursday night at 7 p.m. ENMU women's basketball coast to a 91-38 victory over Oklahoma Panhandle State on Saturday. A combined team effort propelled the Hounds to victory as 5 different individuals finished with 10 or more points in the game. Abby Holder finished the game as the leading scorer with 15. Adding a team best 7 assists and 4 steals, the Hounds will be back in action Thursday, December 5th against Oklahoma Christian at Steve Loy Arena. On Monday, Jameis Winston had a night to remember and one to forget. He threw for a franchise record 497 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also tossed 2 interceptions that Denver returned for scores. The Broncos had 3 picks for 171 interception return yards against him. Judy had 9 catches for 235 yards, the most in NFL history by a receiver against his former team. He also had a touchdown. This was not enough for the Browns to get the win. Bo Nix finished with 294 yards passing, including a wonderful deep ball from his own end zone that Marvin Mims Jr. hauled in for a 93-yard touchdown. The Broncos won the game with a 41-32 score, and Denver enters their bye week in the 7th and final playoff spot in the AFC. The NBA Cup quarterfinals are set. All eyes turn to the next Tuesday and Wednesday for the first round of knockout games to see which 4 teams will move on to the semifinals in Las Vegas. For the East, the New York Knicks and Milwaukee Bucks clinch East Groups A and B, respectively. Tuesday night, New York will host the Atlanta Hawks in the quarterfinal matchup, with the Bucks and Orlando Magic facing off in the other one. On the western side, the top-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder will host the Dallas Mavericks in the rematch of last season's 6-game conference semifinals. In the other matchup, my squad, the Houston Rockets, will host Curry and the Golden State Warriors. That's all the sports I have for you right now. We'll be right back after this break.
With a little bit of somber news, as this is my final show here at News 3 New Mexico.
We're really going to miss you, Johnny.
I'm gonna miss you.
I know. Well, we may have one more show still on Friday, so while this is my goodbye, we still have one more for this season, and we will see you then.
Y'all have a good night.
Have a great night.